right to the police station. So I would too. She got real unruly, but then she was subdued. So there you go. Let's see. We also have a Florida man that carried a flaming propane tank, and a knife-wielding Florida man who also had a flaming propane tank and set a restaurant on fire. This is crazy. He carried this tank through a Tampa restaurant. Oh, was he dual wielding knives? How is he carrying a propane tank? A propane tank. Yeah, I saw it. Propane. I saw him walk through.
I wouldn't go near a propane tank that's on fire. He's carrying it around.
Carrying it around, like on video. He's on the CCTV footage. It was about 8, almost 9 in the morning on Tuesday, Hillsborough County in Florida. The deputies responded to a report of an assault or battery in progress at this Tampa restaurant, according to the report. When deputies arrived, they found the restaurant filled with smoke, flames from the propane tank outside of the building also on fire. I can't believe he didn't blow up. So they told him, drop the knife. That you can hear all them yelling it on the video. He had grabbed 2 knives and charged at several people inside the restaurant. He cut a woman on the wrist when she tried to intervene. Why would you do that? According to WFLE TV. Then he cut a gas line connected to a grill, grabbed their propane tank, and then started setting everything on fire. So 53-year-old Rubiel Castillo was arrested, charged with first-degree arson of an occupied structure, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, criminal mischief by causing more than $1,000 in damage, and several other things. First-degree arson of an occupied structure, all of this. So he's going to be serving some time. I don't see this guy just walking away from that. No, not going to happen. Also, we got a couple more minutes. A Florida man dumped a backpack full of human waste on an ex-girlfriend after she cheated. I mean, I don't really feel bad for her, but Daniel Niemick was charged with domestic battery. Oh, the strangulation's bad. Don't strangle nobody. He choked his girlfriend and then dumped a backpack full of feces, urine, and hot sauce on her. Was it all mixed together? That's disgusting. How do you get that? He was absolutely taken. Of course he was taken to jail. Absolutely taken to jail. His backpack, not so much. We have a lot more on the way. Stick with us.
This message reaches 1 million people or more every week. Spreading the gospel is more than one voice speaking to 1 million. It is and must continue to be 1 million voices, each speaking, pointing them to our friend Jesus.
The Lutheran Hour with Dr. Michael Ziegler.
Tune in to the Lutheran Hour every Sunday morning at 6:30 here on AM 700 KSEV and streaming online at KSEVradio.com.
Jim Clark, a.k.a. Check-A-Pro Joe here. Houston's best contractors. Houston's smartest homeowners. It all starts with the Check-A-Pro Radio Show. Now hear my show every Saturday at 7 a.m. right here on AM 700 KSEV, the voice of Texas.
Hi, this is Louis Flory. You've been relying on Ability Tree experts for decades to protect and maintain the valuable trees on your property. You can continue to rely on the same professional services. So call Ability Tree experts at 281-441-4179 today.
You're listening to the Voice of Texas, AM 700 KSEV Tomball and AM 1540 KGBC Galveston.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Climate scientist Daniel Swain with the University of California Agriculture and Natural Resources says America should brace for a heat wave that could last all month.
Yeah, this upcoming heat wave does look pretty remarkable, not necessarily because of its absolute peak temperatures, although they will be quite high, but I think probably more because it's going to be a very broad event from a spatial perspective, so it's going to extend really almost all the way to the west coast and all the way east to the Ohio River Valley, so that's a huge extent going, thousands of miles across the country.
Forecasters are expecting record triple-digit highs this weekend in Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. President Trump has chosen not to sign a sweeping housing affordability bill Friday in protest of Congress not approving a strict voter ID bill that lacks sufficient support to pass.
The housing measure will become law without President Trump's signature because he didn't veto it. On Truth Social, he wrote, "I will not sign the housing bill, which has been fully approved by Congress and sent to the White House, in protest over the fact that the United States Senate is not capable of passing the Save America Act, which is polling at 97% with the Republican Party and very high with the non-politician Democrats. The president's rejection of the legislation cut short the GOP's efforts to address a key voter concern about rising home costs. He says the Save America Act will have a greater impact on society. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
President Trump has ousted members of a bipartisan federal election commission charged with assisting state and local elections officials. The White House confirmed Friday that Trump is taking executive action to change the makeup of the Election Assistance Commission. On Wall Street, the Dow by 149 points, the S&P advanced 31. More at townhall.com.
In the War of 1812, our nation fought and won America's religious freedom. Today, that constitutional right is being assaulted once more from within.
Religious liberty and rights in general were under attack. We all of a sudden became the enemy.
In the important new documentary by Dawn's Early Light, anti-Christian bias is exposed at the highest levels of government.
I got 6 months house arrest, 5 years probation.
I'm sorry, our rights have been suspended? Hard to believe that the instruments of government would ever be used to punish faith.
Follow the sweeping investigation of President Trump's task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias. The governmental hostility and prejudice is uncovered, and Trump's fight to restore our constitutional liberties and religious freedom.
If we will not be governed by God, we must be governed by tyrants.
Don't miss this powerful new documentary by Dawn's Early Light, the story behind our national anthem. Share it with your church, family, and friends. For a limited time, watch it free at ByDawnsEarlyLightFilm.com. ByDawnsEarlyLightFilm.com.
A goat has been providing some moral support to crews battling western wildfires. We hear more on this story from correspondent Ben Thomas reporting.
Fire dispatch.
It's already been a hard fire season in Colorado.
A lot of fires and a lot of damage and a lot of heartbreak.
But Lindsay Glader's goat, Goldie,
short for Golden Oreo,
a 4-year-old Nigerian dwarf goat with a brown and white coat, has brought some light.
She went around and checked out everybody and was very social.
Trevor Leland's with the Colorado Springs Fire Department. They've been dousing flames and clearing brush this week, Goldie helping with the latter, chomping on leaves.
It's always cool to see an animal like that who doesn't mind us being there, and I think she was happy we were there.
Goldie has become the social butterfly that I think she's always meant to be.
I'm Ben Thomas.
News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
TV Weather Center. Tonight, expect mostly cloudy skies and humid conditions with a low of 78. Tomorrow will bring more of the same with mostly cloudy and humid weather, along with a chance of a thunderstorm that could lead to ponding on roadways. Look for a high of 92. Tomorrow night, anticipate continued mostly cloudy and humid conditions with a low of 77. As we head into Sunday, expect a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few showers and a thunderstorm possible. It will remain humid with a high of 91. With the KSEV Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
Checker Pro Joe here. My guest this week will be Cody Johnson from Garage Door Doctor. For all of your garage door needs, contact Garage Door Doctor at 281-343-3632.
Join Joe every Saturday at 1 o'clock here on AM 700 KSEV and AM 1540 KGBC, the voice of Texas.
Plumbing emergencies never happen at a convenient time. Usually they happen on the weekends, holidays, or while you're away on vacation. I'm Richard Sod, president of Nick's Plumbing. When you find yourself facing a plumbing emergency, call the licensed and experienced professionals at Nick's Plumbing and Sewer Services. Nick's Plumbing has been Houston's first choice for all your plumbing needs since 1979. Our experts can take your most difficult plumbing issues and fix them fast, fix them right, and usually for less than you'd expect. Nick's Plumbing and Sewer Services is the right choice for any plumbing job, from a leaky faucet, whole house repipe, or a complete sewer line replacement. You can count on Nick's Plumbing to do the job right. With over 40 years in business and over 150,000 satisfied customers, Nick's wants to be your plumbing company. Nick's Plumbing offers free estimates and free second opinions. Call Nick's Plumbing and Sewer Services, 713-868-9907, or visit us on the web, nicksplumbing.com.
MPL 38548.
Call Nick's Plumbing today. We're on the way.
Be a Planner show host Nathan Ross wants to remind you, please consider all the syndication terms of your private real estate partnership. By understanding the syndication math, Nathan can help you assess the benefits of ownership. Visit beaplanner.com or tune in each Sunday at 7 a.m. for the Be a Planner show with Nathan Ross, CPA, on KSEV.
One for each other and all for one. The
amigos are we.
Ándale, amigos.
Brother to brother and everyone, a brave amigo, and amigos forever will be.
That's right, it's Amigos Forever here on the Voice of Texas. Thanks for joining us on a sultry Friday drive home summer afternoon. You've got the tax man, El Senador Paul Betancourt at the helm, the soul man of the upcoming Struview, Ben Struzan, and the effervescent, ever-ready Judge Eric Andel. Get your calls into producer El Supremo. Who is back over there? Is it Luke Man or Craig? Craig, who is slimming with us until he goes on his own show at 6 p.m., give us a call, 281-558-5738. Lots going on this week, so we'll take it from the top.
May I touch on one issue?
Okay, is it Iran? Is it Houston?
No. It's something you mentioned when you came in, because Dr. Sloan, we lost an icon of our community, Dr. Sloan, and you were there, and I was just saying he should be well remembered for what he did.
And in fact, you can go to my ex at Team Betancourt, okay, and you can see I was running a little bit late, managed to get there literally at 11:02. Walked up to the upper gallery, took a couple of pictures, talked to Mayor Whitmire and Willie Davis, who were there. Dr. Sloan had, in 20 years, took this place from what was Houston Baptist University up to Houston Christian University. It's one of the untold gems of the city. And next hour, we're going to have Willie Davis call in, be talking about, Ben, what's going on in the city of Houston, because obviously you got a nice shooting, but also what happened at HCU with Dr. Sloan's funeral, and maybe Jonathan called in after too. Now, I did want to give a shout out to U of H. I was down there this afternoon. Okay, yeah, I mean, do your little thing, whatever. ME department, engineering department, college, great stuff. They're finally looking at some really interesting commercialization of some of what Dr. Cho did long ago on superconductor material. Then things like for AI data centers, they've got a better solution on how to do heat dissipation, because the amount of heat these chips produce is astonishing. They figured out and published a paper, or Dr. Hadi did, who found out that just something simple, which is instead of making heat transfer look like what it is downtown in U of H, which is all these big rectangular buildings, of all things, the AI recommended a tree structure, or like a pulmonary tree, and it's much more efficient. So, well, me bringing that up,
I don't want to go out on a limb here, but what would it look like?
Yeah, a limb, right? Or it does. It looks like what are those trees in Africa? Starts with a B. Is it Balkanor trees? I can't remember anyway. Balboa trees. Okay. Very interesting stuff. We got the side guy on at 4:20, Ben, because we got rain coming up next week.
Big rain, I think. It could be hit and miss, but
right. And at an interview at the bottom of the hour you won't want to miss is my vice chairman Brent Hagenbu and I are going to talk about our good friend Brandon Creighton, who has been sued.
Yes, he has been. Interesting lawsuit, by the way.
Right.
Florida had one already. Florida had a lawsuit.
Florida had an anti-woke law. They got sued and actually lost.
Lost that suit.
Now, we've got a don't teach DEI law, okay, which I think is actually pretty good, but he's been sued on that. So we've got a full blower, not even counting what's happening in Iran, not even counting what's happening in the city of Houston. And, Ben, you had one other issue you want to talk about.
Oh, well, we also had that ruling on birthright citizenship earlier in the week. I thought it was really far-reaching, had tons of implications, not all of which are very good.
Well, it didn't change anything from my perspective.
But it did. What it did do is essentially take away, any legal or congressional action to change anything, because basically the Supreme Court is saying, period, as they say, full stop. If you're born here, you're a U.S. citizen.
That's correct.
And so we've seen a couple of scenarios pop out now where there are doctors and hospitals, I think it was in Mexico, to bring pregnant women to the United States in order to have children here in the United States, and what it costs to do that in order to make them U.S. citizens. So I don't know that if you had a specific fraudulent action, okay, is that legal now?
Well, Ben, look,
you asked me the question.
No,
about
I did.
right.
No. I mean, now look,
it's not going to go back up again on that
and
issue.
I've read, and this is what
wouldn't go back up on a fraudulent action.
87 pages or something.
Doubt it.
I can't remember.
I think they won't even.
Look, Ben,
choose to hear it.
Ben, what the Supreme Court did is say, look, the historical precedent is valid. This is what their view of the amendment is. It's pretty open and shut what their view is. And the only way to change it is to pass a law. You have to pass a law.
You have to pass a congressional.
No, I mean, right. You have to pass a statute and a congressional amendment.
Well, I don't think a statute is enough, Paul. That's my point.
Yeah.
Okay, and
I think it's above that. I agree.
I mean, if somebody was put purely fraudulent ring.
That's my question.
Okay,
it's a fraud ring to bring people here.
If there's a RICO action or something like that, maybe not.
I don't think they'll take it.
Yeah, well, but look, this goes back to we are talking 14th, right? Amendment.
Yes.
Okay, right.
Yes.
I mean, this goes back to the solution in the 14th Amendment, which is if you're born here, you're a U.S. citizen. And the Supreme Court has said unequivocally that's the law. You're a citizen.
Yeah.
Period. So the only way to overturn that is to do it by legislative action, and I mean that's it. Okay, and you have to recognize the obvious here.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously disagree, but
no. The part I disagree with is I don't think legislative action will work. I think it's only constitutional amendment, which is the issue.
And as long as we don't have Biden flying people in here for free, okay, all right. So book your destination of choice, and the federal government will, as Biden Airlines, pay for it.
Okay. Ben and I were having this not so philosophical discussion. It's like New Year's. When can you no longer say Happy New Year? Some people think it's the middle of January. Some people think it's the end of January. You can't say Happy New Year to anybody. Don't I have a statute of limitations sometime on Biden? I mean, doesn't some of this just shift? I mean,
we'll use the Obama George Bush standard.
Okay, all right. I will use.
You only give me lift on Obama.
That was about 2 years.
No, you don't get.
Obama got to blame Bush for about 2 years.
No, because you're still blaming him for an Iranian pact that was actually fairly good.
Okay, well, I'll upgrade the analogy, because I thought it was humorous and pretty hysterically ironic that the U.S. team striker, okay, that we fought to get back onto the field was somebody that literally whose mom came here, and then they wouldn't put her on her plane because she was too pregnant. So he became a U.S. citizen.
Thank goodness for us.
And no, and I mean, you just have to love the irony of that. Because the Trumpster did the right thing, which is pick up the phone and say, you know what, the umpire, hosed us on purpose.
Yeah, he red carded him.
Yeah, I know, which was ridiculous.
And then the soccer god said, "Okay, we'll take care of this."
What I find so humorous is that the same people that were complaining the guy got kicked out in the first place were the same people that were complaining that Trump intervened to get him back in.
Well, no. What's interesting is they actually red carded the equipment manager because they brought the guy back out on the field after he was red carded. See, once you get suspended, whether it's baseball, I know you don't think it's a sport, but it is, you can't come back. So they actually, little known, they suspended like the equipment guy.
Oh.
Now, the problem was we were so checked out on defense and that first.
Oh, that.
I mean, I was the guy with the ponytail. He was having a terrible day. I forget his name. But they were just like, they saw the ball, but they would not move to the ball.
We had bad juju. I'm telling you.
We had bad juju.
Bad juju.
Okay.
Bad juju.
Right, so
I think
that's our sports report, our soccer sports report.
Well, and
we covered a lot.
And viewership has gone down like a rock.
Of course.
Okay.
That I
won't even turn it on.
No, I won't even get near it.
Well, look, and the French,
I like the Norway guy. He's mildly
the
interesting.
ponytail guy.
And I like the rowing, watching them do
okay,
on the row.
Look,
but beyond that, I'm not interested.
I think I said this 2 weeks ago. The French are going to win. The French are going to win.
I think they are.
Be the first battle they've won in 3 centuries.
That's right. The French are, victorious. Viva France, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to win.
Good.
All right.
Although I'd like to see Argentina give them a good run. Messi is kind of an interesting.
Well, that was a pretty good comeback. Okay, by any
any definition.
No, by any definition. And by the way, our guy, I forget his name. Is it Christian? What the guy that
Pulisic.
No, Pulisic had a bad. He was hurt.
Balogun or whatever.
No, it was the other guy that was the striker that could hit the ball over on penalty kicks. He scored a couple goals. He has got a real touch with that. That's like a perfect. I mean, it's a beautiful shot.
I know less about soccer than I do about just about everything.
Would you go to baseball before soccer, Ben?
I would, absolutely.
Okay, really?
Yes.
Absolutely. And by the way, just real quick, wrap it up for me real quick, 10 words or less. Why isn't baseball a sport? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
what
understand.
Well, it may become a sport after the end of this season when they lock out all the players and put salary caps in. Now, that has a great future.
Why does that?
Because the Dodgers are way ahead.
Because every team should have an equal opportunity to win. That's the definition.
Ben, that's socialism.
Look at the socialism.
That's right. And we were both going to say, Ben, that's socialism.
You guys always conflate that. It's a sport. A sport, okay? Equal chance to win. A sport. Not thumb on the scale, not advantage one team over another, a sport. Every time you start the game, you should be able to have an equal chance to win as the other team.
In baseball,
same rules
why
for
is
everybody.
it a sport in high school then? What makes it, why isn't that a sport in high school? Well, because it's
certainly more of a sport in high school. Yeah.
Well, you have no argument that it's not a sport.
It's only Major League Baseball that is not a sport.
But baseball itself is
college is getting to be not a sport in any sport, but yeah.
No, that's right. You're going to take all sports out of college because now the big kids
exactly.
Then it's not a sport.
Not anymore.
Oh my gosh,
it's dying off.
How about that?
What is dying off?
A&M
college sports
is gone. Boy,
Ben,
I wouldn't want to run on this platform that you've got.
Well,
Texas football.
Yeah, how many times is A&M going to slaughter Southwest Magnolia State Junior?
Well, they're going to change some of those because the leagues are forcing them to play at minimum of 9 or 10, so they'll change that.
Oh yeah, okay. So over the last 50 years, call me when they get around to it.
But in fairness to,
I'll go to a game after.
But in fairness to your,
I love college sports, except it's just burnt. They're burning it down as we speak.
They may be. You wouldn't have ruled that way that kids are entitled.
Eric,
I don't know that I would have. No.
All right. We're going to turn and burn, pay a few bills. We're going to have the Psy guy on with the forecast for next week, which may be a little more rainy than people are thinking. But with the big Saharan probably not a tropical storm. There's going to be a lot of rain. We'll talk a little bit about the latest in space news. I'm going to give you an update of what I saw. Get your calls in what is your title? Oh, yeah, whatever. I mean, you got to come up with an title, okay? Like something related, whatever you come up with. El Supremo. El Supremo Jr. Okay? All right, next calls at 281-558-5730. Amigos. We'll be back after this on the Voice of Texas.
Texas. And also, please check out our relatively new social media pages. That's at KSEV Radio, YouTube, and Rumble. We are live streaming more and more of our content there every day. And finally, check out my social media pages at Radio Craig C on X and Facebook. That's the Craig Morning Show, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 o'clock. And wherever you get your podcasts, on KSEV TVC in Voice of Texas.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home and in need of the best realtors out there, there's no further than the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group. They've instilled in each and every member of their team hard work and honest values. And believe it, it's paid off. They truly know the Houston market and what it takes to get home sold quickly, find top dollar, and how to get the best deal possible for your home purchase. They're employee owned. They care about their clients, so they always go the extra mile for a huge sale. The Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group have been a top producing real estate team for over 2 decades. Call Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-448-7900. You'll see for yourself and go online at thematthewsteam.com. That's thematthewsteam.com. They sell over 1,000 homes a year, and they know every inch of the buying and selling market in Houston. Call Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group. I say anytime you wish. Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, your realtor, live 281-448-7900. See for yourself online at thematthewsteam.com. That's thematthewsteam.com.
That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, brokered by EXP.
started my first business when I was 12. Only learned for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you with customer care. You show up and do what you say you're going to do. Tom Lowe, owner of Garage Door Doctor. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up and stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and Springs guaranteed to last a lifetime. When you care about the people you serve, you work harder and it shows. Call Garage Door Doctor today or schedule online at garagedoordoctor.biz.
Spring? Easy. With the largest selection, the lowest prices, and locations all over Texas, Specs is the ultimate destination for summer. Kick off the fun during Specs Summer Sale with big savings on ice-cold cans, refreshing wines, and every kind of sip under the sun. Specs Wines, Spirits, and Finer Foods. The fun starts here.
Does your company have a cybersecurity rider? Are you compliant with its terms? If you are not sure, call Tactical Cyber Services for a free consultation. 713-229-0030 or go online at tacticalcyberservices.com.
What if you could invest in real estate for pennies on the dollar? Find out how this Saturday at 2 p.m. on the Check a Pro Radio Show, when tax lien certificate expert Ted Thomas reveals one of America's best-kept investment secrets. Tune in this Saturday at 2 p.m.
Got a
Yeah, you've got the tax man in with the three amigos here on the Voice of Texas. Got the soul man, got the judge, and we've got the Psy guy, Eric Berger. Hey, Eric, what's going on?
Hey, not much, Paul. How y'all doing?
Hey, we're doing well. It's sultry afternoon here, and you caught my attention, or either you or Matt put out something on Space City Weather that said, you know, we're going to have some huge rain, big rain, I think was what you said.
Monday and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday. And I know it's not tropical storm level because we got too much Saharan dust to form one. But what say you, Eric Berger, of Space City Weather?
Well, you know, we're just in the middle of July, and there's not high pressure, and we're going to see a surge of tropical moisture. And so that just means we're going to see increasing rain chances. Probably Saturday will be a little more than today. Sunday will be more than Saturday. And then Monday and Tuesday looks like we'll see widespread rain. Now, we're not too concerned. Most people are probably going to pick up 1 or 2 inches of rain, which is fine. We kind of need it at this point. But it's tropical rain, so you get high rainfall rates. So there will be some pockets where we probably see some street flooding, but later on Sunday or by Monday.
Okay, so you were just running an advance notice that said, hey, you know, we got a plume coming. You know, you could have like a downpour, get 3 or 4 inches, but probably more like 1 or 2.
But what day, Eric?
That's right.
What days are most at risk?
Monday and possibly Tuesday are probably the heaviest days.
When does that Saharan dust plume actually get here? And would that, I assume that would wash it out of the atmosphere?
You know, I think the majority of the Saharan dust is going to stay out over the Atlantic. We'll probably see a plume move through here in a week or 10 days. It's kind of difficult to forecast. But there's certainly, it is certainly blanketing the Atlantic tropics, man. It is, I don't want to taunt anything, but it is quite dead out there right now.
Yeah, Ben, it's dead out in the Atlantics, dead for hurricane development. And that forecast was preposterous to begin with. It was too high, and now it's dead.
But El Nino helps us too, doesn't it, Eric?
No, it knocks the crap out of it too. Explain, Eric. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So July is typically a fairly quiet month anyway, but the dust is just killing off anything that might form right now. And then, yes, El Nino is starting to strengthen, and that will suppress activity in August and September. So, you know, in all likelihood, we're probably going to see a quiet season.
Oh, knock on wood.
But I know, and everyone knock on wood, because, you know, you don't want to make any firm predictions, especially because in Houston, the majority of our activity comes in August and the first half of September.
In all likelihood, one of the side effects of global warming, wouldn't you say, Eric Berger?
Oh, boy.
I don't think I would.
I'm sorry, Eric.
You do you, Ben.
Sorry. But Eric, the most important thing is, so we can get Ben calmed down, can he play golf tomorrow morning?
Can he play?
I think so.
Yes, I believe so. He's going to play golf,
all right,
one way or the other.
Then All right.
All right. Now, okay. I had an interesting deal down at U of H in their engineering college. They were actually doing some really good work that you need to write about at some point. They're taking some of the semiconductor, superconductor materials, and they've been looking at AI data centers on heat transfer and importantly on electrical transmission. So, Eric, I had an interesting day down there, so I said I would give him a shout out and tell you might want to go visit with the tax man too.
I appreciate that. I do think that all of the money flowing into data centers is going to prompt some pretty significant innovation and hopefully lead to more energy efficient computing and sort of more, just basically bringing down the costs of all that, because there is going to be an absolute premium on computing power over the next decade. That's why there's so much money being put into crazy things like data centers in space. But I do think there will be some pretty interesting terrestrial solutions in bringing in superconductors, Paul. And I'm not familiar with that research, but I certainly will be interested.
Well,
in
I'm
checking that out.
holding in my hand, and I know you're watching us on what, Rumble or what is
Tumble,
it, Craig?
Rumble, Twitter.
List everything. What are we on?
We're on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitter.
All right. And if you are, I'm holding a sample of said material here for you, Eric, and for everybody to see. So we need to go out and visit. All right. Now, 3 quick space stories you got. Let's see. Pick one.
Well, very interestingly, early this morning, China launched a rocket. It's smaller than the SpaceX Falcon 9, but they did manage to land it after it went to space and on a platform at sea.
Chinese spies, Ben. Chinese spies on SpaceX.
It's a reusable, yeah.
You're right.
But, I mean, China has been most aggressively trying to copy SpaceX, and it took them a decade, but now they're starting to catch up with that regard with reusing rockets. They've got a ways to go, but it was quite an impressive feat. It looked really cool. And so it's just another confirmation that we are in a really very serious space race with China.
Well, look, and on AI data center, I saw some polling recently. While there's people that are very concerned about water consumption and very concerned about not in my backyard, there's also about a plurality and more than the people that are opposed that say it's important strategic stuff, because these AI data centers, if they have this type of technology, and they have also better cooling technology, are going to be more efficient and therefore more productive. But some of these deep calculations, I read something last night which was very chilling, that the average lifetime of a recruit for a Russian soldier is 20 to 35 minutes on the battlefield right now. Yes. True, Eric? You've seen some of this?
It is true. Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, it's an absolute meat grinder. You look and like they're paying, tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars, to recruit Russians into the war against Ukraine, and a lot of that's just being driven really by the very, hyper aggressive adoption of drones by the Ukrainian military, and it's just the innovation and going there. And they're using Starlink, by the way, to guide those drones, the SpaceX internet.
Isn't that
satellite.
amazing? Yeah, they're using Starlinks to do the drone.
Speaking of that, have you been watching Tom Hanks's World War II, the documentary?
I have been listening to it via podcast, and I find it to be excellent.
Okay, it's been terrific so far.
Well, and Ben, one thing I also saw on a podcast, just to show how fast you can get behind, we had a gun under technology development that would shoot like a large round projectile, and it was going to be able to be instantly programmed by a microcomputer, get over an obstacle and blow up behind it. The Chinese developed it. We had one big explosion, so we dumped it. They obviously are not deterred by one mistake. And so they've got literally some technology that if you're on the battlefield, they'll shoot a bullet, effectively a projectile past you and blow you up from behind.
It's basically a guided missile. It's just miniaturized.
Right, and programmed literally on the spot by the gun. Okay, so when people say there's not a strategic issue, there is, because a lot of this stuff is going to change incredibly rapidly, and the Ukrainian war has been a huge crucible for it. All right, Eric, give you one last space idea, and then I'm going to let you go. What do you got? Any other? Well, I saw that Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos, has decided he's going to try to become SpaceX Lite.
Yeah, he is going out. The world's richest man is going out, or one of the world's richest men is going out to privately fundraise for additional money. You know, it's interesting. I would estimate, Paul, this is not public data, but I would estimate he's put in $30 billion or something like that into Blue Origin since its founding. And so he's basically...
Yeah. So how much does he have to put in to rebuild the New Glenn rocket that blew up on the pad?
Oh, my gosh.
Well, he's working, trying to get government funding for that, so we'll see what happens.
He just bought 10% of his last funding round, so he's funding himself essentially.
Yeah, well, I think it's like 20%, Ben, because I think
of the last
was it $2 billion
of the last funding. Yeah, it was $2 billion in the last funding round.
All right.
Okay. So, but anyway, yes, but they're still way behind SpaceX. This is a response to the SpaceX IPO. If they're going to try to compete with SpaceX, they just need more capital.
And they're out there trying to absorb all that beautiful gold, all that gold out there. They want, Bezos wants his gold too. All right.
He does.
Yes, he does. But he needs it because he needs to rebuild that rocket. Otherwise, we're going to have trouble with heavy lift, at least on the Artemis program. All right. Sci Guy, Eric Berger, Space City Weather, all sorts of things. Great to have you as always.
Yes, my pleasure. Have a great weekend,
Thank you, Eric.
Right.
Thank you.
Folks, and if you hadn't signed up at Space City Weather, you need to, because Uncle Paul was their 50th person that signed up. And now they have tens of thousands. I don't even know how many people. Eric, how many people do you got? I don't even know anymore.
We have 25,000 email and then many, many more on other platforms. So.
All right. See, that's what's called progress. All right. Speaking of which, we'll make some progress and have another good guest on right after this on The Voice of Texas.
To take the right path when it comes to your mortgage. You know, we live in a world of information overload, but always consider the source. And these are not generally going to be from your big bank or a random offer that comes across your screen. Remember, you're always going to get a better deal on one that you go looking for than one that comes looking for you. You need to deal with somebody who gives a you-know-what, whether or not you're happy in the end. At Baker Mortgage, we do it right. We haven't been around for 68 years because we're lucky. We don't sell CDs, insurance, or anything else. We just provide a great mortgage experience. Isn't that what you're looking for? Call us at Baker Mortgage. I promise you'll be glad you did. We're at 281-313-MOVE or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender. License number 263213.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate. Our country's founding fathers drafted a document that is the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. My friends at O'Hara & Company Real Estate, we believe we're at a precipice in time where we must take back our country. We must stand up for our freedoms or lose them forever. Please don't sit idle and let it slip away. Don't let anyone force you to do something you choose not to. As JFK said, if not us, who? If not now, when? If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, give O'Hara & Company Real Estate a call at 281-373-3393, 281-373-3393, or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. I'm Kevin O'Hara. God bless America, and God bless Texas.
Dan Patrick for my friend Louis Flory and Ability Tree Experts.
Spring is here and summer just around the corner, which means it's time to deep root fertilize your trees in addition to spraying for insects and disease. Let Ability Trees help maintain their value and repair all damage. Fed and prune tree will be less susceptible to wind damage and uprooting. Caring for the beautiful and valuable trees on your property that you can't replace should be done by experts. And the experts I use, it's very clear. It's Ability Tree Experts and Louis Flory, my friend for over 40 years. Gosh, this guy is the pro when it comes to taking care of trees. You know, pruning is important for the health of your trees. And pruning limits resistance to spring storms and allows the sun and fresh air into the canopy. Trees can be in distress several months without showing any signs. So don't wait to protect your investment at 281-441-4179, 281-441-4179, or visit their website at abilitytrees.com. Right now, Ability Trees is giving a deep root feeding with every tree prune. Ability Trees, Houston's leading tree care professional.
Got a question or comment for the Amigos?
Blue everybody knows.
Released 1972, goes straight to number one. Neil Diamond, who's now retired. Parkinson's, we wish him well.
Blue everybody knows one. What?
Carole King.
No.
1971 released. It's too late. It's too late. Carole King. You like Carole King?
Oh, I love Carole King. I mean, she was really a fantastic
This was released in
singer-songwriter.
1971. The Association, Wendy, released in 19... Ben, this is too early for you.
I remember this
Remember
song.
that?
And I get around,
Thank you, Beach Boys.
Get around, oh, I
Released
get
in
around,
1964, right to number one. We are KSEV 700, the voice of Texas, bringing us home. Lively discussion about many things and now and to come. Senator Betancourt across from me, Ben Struzan diagonally from me and opposite of me, and Eric Andel.
In so many ways.
In so many ways.
Yes,
in
well.
so many ways.
All right, well, let's bring on our next guest, okay? So,
Okay.
And I'm happy to have Brent Hagenbu, who's the vice chairman of the Senate Higher Education Committee,
Okay.
join me. Brent, how's it looking up by the Red River?
It's great up here. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, and Brent, the reason why I want to have you on, because there is actually a very big lawsuit, Ben, that hasn't gotten much coverage, which is our old friend Brandon Creighton, who's been on many times, in fact, was on just a few weeks back, as now the Texas Tech Chancellor. He's been sued, Eric, by a laundry list of people that are on the left. Texas American Association of University Professors, American Federation of Teachers, and the National American Association of University Professors, and with challenging two memos that Chancellor Creighton issued. Specifically, they're saying that he violated the First Amendment by suppressing viewpoints they dislike, because he's basically saying, following his own law, Senate Bill 37, and trying to get DEI out of higher education. So what say you, Mr. Vice Chairman? You've looked into this, Brent. Take it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, meritless lawsuit, I believe. I mean, for one thing, the Supreme Court's recognized that speech made as an official job is not the same as private speech. So the university has a right to restrict what people are teaching and guide them on that. And in terms of discriminating against people, it's actually the opposite. The first memo talks very clearly that there be no discrimination against anyone related to their sex or racial gender. And there's a number of details in there that go into, like Plato being canceled, which isn't true, and those kinds of things. So it's I think it's just wrong from principle and its details.
Yeah, and Eric, I think you've had some time to look at this. Now, there is a case in Florida. There was a law that was, I would say, anti-woke is the term. At least that's what the description was.
And they struck it down.
Oh, just one federal judge, though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It'll go to that circuit.
Right, go to that circuit. Now, clearly, the day after, these three, and these are left-wing groups. I mean, they are, Texas American Association of University Professors, American Federation of Teachers, and National American Association of University Professors. They immediately filed suit. Now, the interesting thing, Ben, was they filed suit in El Paso, okay, for two reasons. One, there's a Texas Tech medical school there, but also, if you had to guess that where you might have more...
We forum shop. We
right.
understand that. We get that.
See, so, Brent, you don't know Eric that well, but he'll freely admit that there is forum shopping going on lawsuits.
Well, from both sides now. That's a song from both sides now, right?
Okay,
but here's the thing. The Fifth Circuit is very conservative. Usually nothing's going to get past them without a reversal if the trial court. But I don't know about Florida's circuit. Probably conservative. I think it's in Virginia. I think it's the fourth. This could head to the Supreme Court if we have a split in jurisdiction.
Was the Dred Scott case also, was that allegation true, or what was the reference to that, Senator?
That's not necessarily true. The upper level courses, they can go through a process to get exemptions. There were a number of exemptions done. There were for upper level courses, there were like 324 courses that had applied for exemptions and received them. So And then there's a number, I don't have that exact example, but a number of them that they studied with regard to medical education things which just are inaccurate. The university allowed for exemptions for specific things that are accused in this lawsuit.
Brent, what would you say? I mean, sum this up for everybody to listen. I mean, this is clearly they're clearly focusing on Creighton, okay, and individually, and I'm not making that no bones. He passed the bill. He's implemented it at Texas Tech. Texas Tech's on a big power curve straight up. It's got national recognition now. And it's not just not on DEI, but I mean it's on academics and research and
yes, they're tier 1 now.
Yeah, they're really a tier 1, but they're clearly targeting him, trying to basically cut this whole idea that DEI shouldn't be taught in higher education and picking on. I saw they were picking on Plato and on Dred Scott. Look, we're teaching Dred Scott not at a high school level because it's a horrible decision that led to the Civil War. Among many other decisions. So I don't see the critical mass here, but what say you, Brent?
Yeah, look, this is just the university, the legislature and the state government being responsible to the taxpayers. These are taxpayer-funded universities, right? And so even SB 37 reaffirmed what's already is law, which is that we have a duty to review curriculum. Faculty, the chancellor and the regents do review curriculum and make sure that it's foundational to prepare students for civic and professional life and deliver a broad education. And that's what they're going towards. They're trying to get back to let's focus these universities on what they were designed for, what the taxpayers want, which is to turn out our children with great degrees that will help them pursue the American dream, be ready for the workforce, and provide great research, but not to push any kind of identity or race-based or sexual-based point of view. And by the way, the memo is very clear. It doesn't say you can't talk about those things. It just says you can't conclude that one is better than one thing is better than the other when they're basically just opinions.
Right.
So I think the chancellor did a fantastic job of this, and I'm so pleased he's leading the way on this for our Texas universities. And we get out of this woke deal and push that aside and focus on what these universities are made for. I believe we got the best universities in the world, which I think the Ivy Leagues have basically woke themselves to death and out of.
Well, they certainly damaged a lot of credibility, especially with the business community. Go.
Yeah, no, Brett, Ben Strusan, thanks for joining us. I'm the guy they call the smart one, but I want to ask, I don't understand the first, I understand kind of, but the First Amendment argument, Eric, to this is what exactly? Like if I'm taking a biology course and I want to learn about biology and I want to get a credit in biology, why should the professor be allowed to wander into pronoun and, multi-gender sex orientation in the discussion?
Well, you're making you're making hypothetical.
Well, I
am.
Well, I am.
That's true.
But that's the crux of the.
Well, that's the crux of the argument.
Okay, but Eric,
what's the counter argument that would avail where you would prevail? Are you saying the professor has a First Amendment right to talk about whatever he wants to in the classroom once he's hired?
Well, of course not. Although a court could be broad, could make
now,
a broad range.
Let me give you some background. It's interesting you bring up biology because it was what happened in the biology department at Texas Tech at a finance committee hearing that actually started all of this idea of SB 37. They were actually in the biology department giving a survey, a DEI awoke survey, and if you failed it as a candidate for the department, you would not get a job. And that was the eruption in the finance committee that led to SB 37. So it's interesting that he just happened to pick biology as a comment.
And I'll go one step further, and that is that you have the state, the taxpayers paying for part of this. You also have the students and their parents or whatever paying for tuition in order to learn about biology. And if they're not getting a biology course,
but you're inferring they're not. That's
well,
what's being
but
taught.
the standard,
no,
but Texas Tech has a standard for biology. They want certain topics covered, one of which does not include, pronouns and transgender
you're inferring
sex.
that's what it was in the curricula.
But what I'm saying is that what would possibly be the First Amendment argument to allow a professor to teach anything outside the realm of the subject?
Now,
that's all I'm asking.
If that's what they
because
were,
this is Lambda Sigma. This is
that's what they were teaching. Ben always does this. You couldn't. You're only inferring that's what they're teaching. If they were to do that, could that be up for question? Well, yes, it could be. But I don't know that that's true. It'd be like my saying to you, you mean to tell me a history professor can't discuss Dred Scott, slavery?
No, you said slavery.
Well, that's what the Dred Scott was about.
Well, no kidding.
But what I'm saying is that doesn't the university have the right to determine what should be included in a history course?
Only to a certain limit. Professors are going to give opinions on it. That's what you teach. You don't teach from
Ben,
horn book.
let me,
I don't know.
I'll let Brent also come in on this.
I'm not sure, Eric.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brent. Take it.
Yeah. I mean, this with the one of the Nazi Germany. Clearly, that's wrong. The memorandum 2 explicitly says historic intrinsic exceptions are allowed for, and it specifically names AIDS, Alan Turing, Harlem Renaissance. These are history where the subjects are inseparable from the events.
But you're quoting from
that kind of thing.
You're quoting from Texas Tech instruction, correct? You're quoting me a memorandum.
This is the memo. This is exactly what the memo is.
But that's to my point. Tech is determining what is allowed and not allowed, and Eric is claiming the professor can ad lib.
Make editorial.
No, it's saying there's a appeals process.
Right.
You're saying if you think that this item should be in this course because it's intrinsically, for example, part of history, you can make that appeal. And I think the way that they're going to judge it fairly and say, is it or is it not, or is this unnecessary wandering into areas of sexual orientation and things that aren't necessary to teach that part of history?
Let me put a capstone on this. With the law that Senator Creighton used, one of them, he looked at what is the Stop Woke law at Florida because it passed earlier. So I think our SB 37 is took some of those lessons. I think it's a pretty solid bill because Ben's right, and what Senator Higginbotham is talking about is the top-down guidelines are here for this course. Is this what you're supposed to teach? But Eric, you're right. If somebody asks a question about the Dred Scott, he has to be able to respond and say it.
And one other example, and it is true. It is accurate that the Nazis took on many different sects to kill and all that.
Right.
It's not just
it wasn't just the Jewish.
No,
right.
it was
I
not.
mean,
it was
Jehovah's
Witnesses. It was gays.
It was Lutherans and Roman Catholics.
I'm not arguing what's a fact and what's not a fact. I'm simply stating that I believe that the tech decision makers have the ability to determine what should be included and not included in those tech classrooms.
It is impossible for professors not to give teach opinions.
But all right, let's go back to this. Now, Brent and I have both read this. I think the lawsuit was filed after they got a partial win in Florida. I think our law is better. Also, I think that
I do too.
Right, and Brent, I'm glad you agree. And I think that the way we've got it constructed, I think the Fifth Circuit is going to uphold it. But this is an example of actually what I believe is that Creighton has become the ground zero of this woke DEI fight. I mean, you've got 3 national groups that are after him, and he's named personally in this suit. Okay, this isn't all right. So I mean, they're going after him on multiple levels. So this is really going to be fascinating to see what happens on this. And Brent, I'll give you the last word because we got to hit a break. And thanks for being a first-time caller here on the Three Amigos.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This has been a great discussion. I think it's a very important case. I believe we're going to prevail in it. I think SB 37 is a very good law. I think he implemented it carefully and accurately. And this is going to make our universities better going forward and make sure our kids get a great education There's, some of these things can be included, but the main courses are going to be focused on giving them a great education and for the workforce development and to be able to live the American dream. And that's what we want. That's what the taxpayers want, right? They're paying for the universities, and I think that's what Chancellor Creighton's doing. Very proud of him.
All right, and Mr. Vice Chairman, I'll see you at hearings. I think we've got some on July the 27th or 28th and 29th. So we'll see you up in Austin then.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Senator.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, get your calls in, folks. 281-558-5738. Join Tom at 281-558-KSEV or pound KSEV. It's free for those Verizon callers. Three Amigos will be right back after this on The Voice of Texas.
On The Voice of Texas.
Hi, this is Michael Miller. Join me this weekend for the Backyard Bay radio program presented by Miller Pools and Texan Pools, now at our new time every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And what we do here on the Backyard Bay radio program is talk about your backyard. And this time of year, wow, it's so hard not to just spend all your time out in the Backyard Bay. And I know sometimes you have questions. That's why we do the Backyard Bay radio program, to get you good, solid answers to any kind of questions that you may have concerning your swimming pools, or I'm looking to build a new swimming pool. Join me this weekend for the Backyard Bay radio program, now at our new time, every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., right here on The Voice.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more than the doctor. Garage Door Doctor.
We got a call late New Year's Eve. A father with big plans for his family the next day said his garage door spring just snapped. He couldn't get his car out and wouldn't be able to get his family to where they needed to go. He felt stuck and alone. So we showed up fast with the right spring and the right parts to fix it right. We didn't talk about the price. We didn't wait till the morning. We fixed it right then. Because at Garage Door Doctor, it's never just about the job. It's about the person behind it. The dad, the veteran, the grandpa, the neighbor. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Garage Door Doctor. When you need help, we're the ones that show up. Call Garage Door Doctor today or schedule online at garagedoordoctor.biz. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime because we're proud to serve the people who rely on us.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more than the doctor. Garage Door Doctor.
Hey, Eric, are you there, buddy? Eric, are you there?
Oh, no, I'm not. You know why? Because I need a new grill. Not for me, but for the hotel. So I'm thinking.
Are you talking about something like
We're
a grill
talking
to
about-
cook, or
we're
like
talking about
I'm getting grilled today, but I'm talking about one
Or you're
that's
talking like on your face?
No,
or what
we're
are you
talking about a huge grill for his place downtown.
That's right.
You mean?
Huge.
Where would I go, Ben? Where would I go?
Let me think about it a second.
Just for half
click,
a second.
click. If I were
Isn't he
you,
a friend of yours? A friend of mine?
if I were you,
Russell. That's it.
That's the guy I would
Gas-
call. I would call.
Gas Products?
That's the guy I would call. Gas Product Services. My buddy Russell Metzler. Give him a call at 281-798-8006. You know, I got a call the other day by accident. You know how people sit on their cell phones. Well, I got one from my granddaughter. First thing she asked me is, "How's that gas grill doing that you got from Russell Metzler at Gas Product Services?" My 16-year-old granddaughter now. I remember when she was, 8 or 9, and she told me, "Gramps, you're messing with that old dirty grill. Why don't you just call Russell?" And now she's worrying about me whether or not that gas grill's still working. I told her it's working just fine. So give Russell Metzler a call, 281-798-8006, or check out his products online at gasproductservices.com.
Start your mornings with the Chris Salcedo Show.
Chris Salcedo Show.
Hello, Chris Salcedo. How are you today?
Is this our hate-filled liberal from New York?
Not at all. This is the red-blooded American. You're lying propagandist.
And you say you're a chemical engineer? The dangers of socialism and communism. It produces mind-numbed idiots like you just heard.
You'll probably find 3,000 chemical engineers. They mix it in the bathtubs. They mix it in sheds, in the backyards, in 5-gallon buckets.
That's great, Chuck.
The Chris Salcedo Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Got a question or comment for the Amigos? Call
Take it, Ben. Take it, Ben.
And welcome back to the Voice of Texas. Thanks for joining us on your Friday drive home afternoon with the three amigos. Ben the Soul Man, the Strew with the View Strusan on the right. Got the tax man Paul Betancourt at the helm, the liberal lefty judge Eric Andel. And, of course, I want to remind everybody you can catch our program live, and I mean live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter at KSEVradio.com. In fact, I'm looking at me right now talking, and I'm talking to me, myself, and looking back at me as I talk, and I'm going back and forth between me
Only
and
the smart one can do that.
That's right. It's got a little bitty thing under there that says,
yeah, really.
The smart one. Okay?
Okay, now.
So, I tell you what.
Ben, we got to talk about the shooting. The ice shooting.
Yeah, we'll do that at the top of the hour.
We got Tom.
Go to the phones, yeah.
Yeah, Tom's been waiting a long time, and he's got a good question. Tom, you're up first on the Voice of Texas. Come on, Tom.
Well, good afternoon there. You fellas sure ain't short for wind.
We are known for
We
that.
had a bunch of guests booked, but I'm glad you called, Tom. What's up?
Thank you, Tom.
All right. I need to know, Paul, you need to give me some technical advice here. I was watching the TV the other day, and this Calafrico, I think it is.
Right.
He was on his commercial. He said that he was the one that put forward the bill on diabetes medication being lowered and
business tax relief, and he said,
and the big one was he said that he got the people in the state of Texas the tax decrease.
Yeah,
there you go,
now,
a man.
I got to meet this guy because he ain't the one I've seen speaking.
You know, he did not help me in the Senate at all. In fact, I didn't even know he helped anybody in the House. And I have asked my House colleagues, said, guys, would you tell me what he did? And so far I have silence from them, but I'm going to ask him again next week because he was not a co-author or certainly in the Senate or a co-sponsor in the House. But he does claim a great many things.
What do you know? He's telling a different story.
I know. I mean, as the guy that carried the bill, I didn't know that he helped anybody in the House, but I'm waiting on verification before I launch rockets.
Well, okay. Now, I know that I can't sue a slimy, low-belly politician, but can another slimy, low-body politician sue another one?
But, you know, I
and
would
bring
know.
it to court to where there's depositions involved?
Hey, Tom, I would not know who you're talking about because there is no slimy politician on this show. But I will tell you that I'm ready to get some verification and find out what Ms. Talarico did to pass my bill because he's never had a conversation with me about it. So
that's the question of the day.
That is the question. When I saw that ad too, I went, So I'm asking about insulin and, and the other bill too. All right, good call, Tom. As usual, you pinned it.
But you knew this is the way he was going to go, right?
Well,
Anything he remotely voted for,
of course.
after voting against it 5 times.
He went out and said we had rigged elections, and I popped him on that immediately. Yeah. So, but
that's for his base.
He did vote for the bill, so that's the first thing.
Right, that's all he needs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you need. I mean,
well, it's all you need if you're not saying that you helped everybody to come together.
I wonder if he supports that, like extra statehood and beast packing.
Well, I know that he didn't vote for my big property tax relief bill in 2019.
I know he wants to put a welcome mat at the border. He said that. We can play that clip.
Well, we'll talk about him next, right after paying a few bills.
Voice of Texas, AM 700 KSEV Tomball, and AM 1540 KGBC Galveston.
Which looks to limit birthright citizenship, is unconstitutional. McGuire's amendment would not grant citizenship to children of people who are here in our country illegally. McGuire saying in a statement, American citizenship is a privilege and an honor that must be protected. Laura Winters reporting.
A former member of the British Parliament has been found dead and a suspect is in custody.
78-year-old Anne Widdicombe was found dead in her home.
The suspect, who is a white British national,
remains in police custody whilst inquiries continue.
Assistant Chief Constable Matt Longman says Whittecomb's death is not being treated as terrorism, and there are no indications to suggest a political motivation. Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
Anne was a distinguished politician over many, many years with many achievements, and it's a huge loss.
Whitcomb was a former Conservative lawmaker who later joined the Brexit Party. She was known for her conservative views and appearances on reality TV shows. I'm Ed Donahue.
Lawyers for the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk are trying to sow doubt about the case, but a prosecutor countered Friday that authorities have overwhelming evidence against defendant Tyler Robinson. That includes DNA tests and apparent confessions by Robinson to people he knew. On Wall Street, the Dow by 149 points, the S&P 500 advanced 31. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
Here's the Wall Street Business.
From KSEV, here's political contributor Ben Strusand.
Most polling shows that Republicans are going to have a tough time winning majorities in both houses of Congress in November. Voters blame Trump for inflation and believe that many of the necessities they need to purchase have become unaffordable. 2 out of 3 voters don't believe that preventing Iran from building a nuclear weapon is worth the higher gas prices that they are paying. Voters never give a president credit for preventing bad things like a nuclear war from happening. President Trump should realize by now that the Islamic Republic will never agree to a deal that results in a Trump win. The mullahs read the polls and see the domestic political pressure to end the war. It's part of their strategy. We should stop chasing a bad deal. This does not mean that we should resume unlimited airstrikes, but rather targeted decapitation strikes against their leadership, as the Israelis used effectively. If Iranian leaders won't cut a deal, then let's get new ones. The real leverage we have against Iran is economic. We destroyed what Iran took decades to build. Their defense industrial base used to manufacture drones, missiles, and nuclear weapons. Inflation in Iran is running at 40%. The blockade collapsed the revenue stream used by the Revolutionary Guard Corps, their security services, and all the government infrastructure. If our blockade is allowed to continue and not stopped by Democrats and a few lame duck Republicans in Congress, we can eliminate the mullah's leverage over its people. We don't need regime change to pressure them into a better deal for us. Just perseverance. Intercepting what leaks out via Iran's shadow tanker fleet will speed the process. The best guess is this pressure will take 6 months to show results, right around the time of the elections. I'm Ben Strusand, and that's my view.
Ben Strusand, only on AM 700 KSEV.
Whether you're playing with your kids or playing for the Houston Astros, a sprain, tear, or nagging ache can set you back. Until your expert orthopedic team at Houston Methodist uses advanced technology to personalize a treatment plan that's minimally invasive, healing your pain, and getting you back to life on your terms. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it for you. Houston Methodist, leading medicine. Official healthcare provider for the Houston Astros.
I started my first business at 12, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you, and that made me work harder. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Garage Door Doctor. From repairs to upgrades, call Garage Door Doctor.
One for each other and all for one. The three brave amigos are we.
Arriba, amigos.
Brother to brother and everyone. A brave amigo. And amigos forever will be.
That's right. It's Amigos Forever here on the Voice of Texas. Thanks for joining us on a Friday sultry drive home afternoon. You got the tax man, El Senator Paul Betancourt at the helm, the soul man of the previous Strew View, Ben Struzan, and the effervescent, ever-ready Judge Eric Andel. Get your calls into, we have to come up with some name for him, ADP. We got to come up with some cool name for Craig at 281-558-5738 because he'll be running his own show here, Greg Collins Show at 6 p.m. to follow the Amigos. Now, lots going on. Let's do a quick international update since we've been off for 2 weeks. We're back in the kinetic energy business, okay, because we're using kinetic strikes over in Iran.
How'd that treaty hold up? Good? How
well,
we doing?
Why don't you're complaining about that now? First you were complaining that they were shooting. Now you're complaining that they stopped shooting. Then you complain
Ben, what I'm
that they were shooting
Ben,
again.
because I've been consistent. It was ill-conceived. It's been ill-conceived from the beginning.
That's because you don't think it's worth it, and I do.
And I know.
I think they did get enough out of it to justify
no chance
what they did. Yeah, what he's done.
Because we're right back where we started from.
No, we're not. I mean, their military-industrial complex is
so
destroyed,
you say. Oh,
and they're don't have the capability of putting the parts together in order to build their nuclear weapon, even if they were able to dig that stuff out of the ground. And, they've destroyed a lot of those missile-making parts facilities and rocket fuel assembly points. So, yeah, they've done a good job at degrading Iran's capability, yet they still have the capability of shooting up a couple of ships. So I've said from the beginning I did not like the deal when they signed it, and I was glad to have Trump revoke it. And apparently he revoked it, and he saw the light on this one. Let's play clip number one.
He apparently revoked
Craig.
it big time.
Craig, let's play number one.
We're going to hear it.
Wrong side of this one, boys.
I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. If I make a deal with him, we have a deal. And he goes out, he talks. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo. As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
It's a recognition.
We all agree with that comment. Do we all agree with the Trump statement?
It's a recognition of the obvious.
It is, okay? It is. And, Democrats have been sort of saying that. They've tried to negotiate with these people, but they can't be negotiated with. They cannot be appeased. They cannot be bought off. Let's just go down the road and finish this, okay? Finish it.
There's no There's no finishing this, man.
There is, however, a status quo, which is you're going to have to apply enough kinetic energy. Yep. I'm going to use that term specifically.
Put the blockade back on.
And to keep that strait open.
You got to keep the strait open.
Right. And
without that, you don't win.
Now, I did think that they hit a railroad bridge, it just came up on Fox News, by the way, and that's a 2-for-1. People thought it had something to do with the funeral. It might, but that's the primary supply in from the Caspian Sea and the stands of these replacement parts for these all these missiles.
Look,
from Russia and China.
Look, a win for the world, okay, and a win for the United States is convoy that shipping out of there, open it up. The oil market is telling you what's going on. The price went down yesterday. It did not go up. The price is just about where it was before all this started.
It's about what, $72?
Yeah, it was at 70 when all this started on West Texas Intermediate. It is telling you what you need to know, and that is that people are finding a way around this. There's oil coming out of the Middle East. It's being piped over land. There are ships being escorted out of the Persian Gulf. It is not the economic disaster the Democrats are wishing for, and you guys need to stop rooting against the U.S.
Now,
and Trump.
Ben, in all fairness, the price of gas did go up substantially. It stayed up for a long time. That effect is baked into the landscape now of what people have paid out of pocket, really, since, February the 28th?
And whatever has been paid out of pocket is worth it. I realize it's a minority position. I realize people don't agree with me. The bulk of people don't agree with me. But I do believe that we are much better off now than before we started.
Okay, Ben, stop filibustering. Go ahead,
we've
give your
gone
response.
back and forth. You can't. There's no win in this war. The point is that unless the strait is open, we're right back. You can't win this war. There's no win. It's just how do you get out of it?
Well, how do you get out of it?
How do you get out of it?
It's not necessary to open.
Keep the strait open.
It's not necessary to open the strait or have it go back to the status quo.
Then you have to keep it open.
It is not necessary to go back to the status quo.
No, it's absolutely a fundamental necessity. It's the freedom of seas. You cannot let the Iranians.
No, I agree with that for
toll it and whatever else.
I totally agree with you for political reasons, Paul. But from an economic standpoint, the world is doing a workaround. Okay, you can just look at the stock market and the energy market to see that there's a workaround.
One thing we'll know by next week: oil stocks had dropped dramatically. Cushing,
we'll see.
The Europeans had dropped down. Now with the few weeks of getting the tankers out and things like that, I think they got 60 million barrels out for Iranian oil.
And the U.S. has been convoying ships at night anyway, and nobody knew about it.
But yes, there is a possibility that you're at a more steady state workaround at this point in time. And believe me, one of the reasons why the Qatarians and Bahrain and everybody else are getting hit.
We need to get the strait open because of the Saudis and Qatar and Kuwait. Right. I totally agree with that, Paul. Anyway,
now we go from national politics to right here in Houston.
Yeah, this story is involving the ICE shooting over
Canal Street?
Yeah, off Canal Street. A couple of comments. First of all, ICE has been quiet. Homeland Security has said repeatedly that they want to do the investigation first before they start making comments. And if you remember what happened in Minnesota, as soon as we had the individuals tragically killed in Minnesota, Washington stepped in. They started making comments, references to things. It proved not to be true. It was overturned by video evidence. This time, we don't have Kristi Noem making stupid mistakes like that, nor do we have the former border guy. I forgot his name.
We do have Holman.
But we do have Holman in, and he was just on Fox saying exactly the correct thing.
Happened in Minnesota with the shovel, and then now, what happened in Houston? What can you tell us about that? And also,
I'm not going to comment on an ongoing investigation. In the first shooting with Renee Good.
That's too bad audio. He was on Fox. We don't have the Fox.
It was bad audio. He was on Fox.
He was on Fox. Yeah,
we'll see if we can clean it up a little bit and see again.
Okay, basically, what did Holman say on Fox?
He said, I'm not going to say a word while this is under investigation because if we don't know, we haven't seen the body.
There's no body cameras, and that's a big problem.
And we are not going to, prejudice the investigation one way or the other. But he promised that whoever's accountable will be held accountable.
Okay, now,
that was the important. I think the important thing. He's not prejudging anything. And he also made a statement in Minnesota when he found that there were agents that didn't do things by the book. They made them accountable as well.
No, because Holman was.
All right, we're ready with that. Let's play it.
And let's. I want to just add to that. And when people act well outside of policy or act in violation of law, they'll be held accountable. When I went to Minnesota to fix that mess, when President Trump sent me there, the first thing I did is bring more internal affairs officers in there
because he had to clean
and
it
run
up.
down all the allegations. And unfortunately, a couple of agents are in trouble now. But we will do the right thing. Based on the findings of the investigation, we'll hold our people accountable. You got my word on that.
Let me bring you up to date. Because I ran into Mayor Whitmire, who was headed to Canal Street. We're going to have Willie Davis, a good city council member, on to talk about all this in a bit. He basically said that there is no body cam footage. And without body cam footage, it is tough. Oh, by the way, with the space race, we just broke the news that China landed on that platform. Well, Fox News just caught up with us, and they showed the same thing. You always hear it first on the Three Amigos. And so, Ben, the real problem we've got is if there's no positive lock footage of what happened, it's going to make this a real
frothy,
political issue.
Right, because people are filling the void with their own false version of events.
Well,
now
Ben, hold on.
I have seen video, Paul. I saw it on KHOU yesterday. A high-speed chase when those officers
that's on Canal Street.
Were streaking. That white van was streaking down that
that's
street.
That's a different thing. That's not when when people got shot.
Washington Post is carrying a story that people inside that van, who are now being held by Homeland Security, have said that their lights were on. Okay, so
Ben, slow down.
This narrative about they didn't know it was law enforcement.
Ben, I'm not saying
totally
that.
wrong.
Ben, I'm just repeating what I know to be the problem, because without body cam footage of the incident, it's going to be open to massive interpretation. And Ben, there's going to be people not just filling the vacuum; they're going to be spending it on purpose. Now we'll see what happens. Now we all saw the tapes. They have surveillance tapes on the street, and we saw some, and I think, Ben, they probably weren't after the guy that got shot, but maybe somebody else in the van. That's my guess. I don't know if it's true.
Well, someone said today he was not the target.
Thanks, Craig.
That's convenient. Yeah, but that's convenient. We don't know if that's the truth or not.
Well, because Homeland Security said it. You don't know if that's the truth? Homeland Security issued a statement saying that the victim was not the target of the chase.
That's what they say.
Now, time out.
Okay, well, you don't want to believe them? That's fine. To me, it very logically
Ben, we got a whole group of people that don't want to believe them. That's
of course
the problem.
not.
Right now. We've got two things. One, now I checked with HPOU because they're always a great resource, and they said that there's a new 72-hour hold rule that they can't speak out, or the officers involved can't do it on the federal level, which I didn't know. Now that's passed at this point, so I think Holman will get to the bottom of it. But it goes back to one of the reasons why I've been for body cams. It is because
everybody's for body cam.
Well, it should be, and everybody should be wearing it, because then there's no the evidence is right there.
All I'm saying is that some of the allegations that were made yesterday, carried wall to wall by the press on every media station, on every television station in the Houston area, all four of them. They all carry the allegations that the passenger and the guy driving the van didn't know he was being chased by law enforcement. I think that's totally false. And that when they pulled him over, when they pulled that guy over and opened the doors and made him come out, it was after a high-speed chase, and they were fleeing is what was going on.
Yeah, but you don't shoot for a fling.
Okay, I don't disagree, Eric. I'm just saying that they're filling in these blanks.
But you are too right now. I mean,
but I saw that from the video. Well, okay, I can see that from the video.
Eric's point is valid, and here's the point. Without the body cam of the incident, everybody is going to fill that vacuum.
Exactly.
Now, there's enough surveillance video, like when they did the 3-point turn and they turn around and they're going the other way. So yes, obviously the black, unmarked car, it may have had lights. I don't know. Was following the white van. So that much is obvious.
But self-defense is a unique defense.
Right.
And I haven't seen any camera work on why there was, quote, self-defense.
Right, but the narrative that's being pitched in the media primarily initially by the family, but totally supported by the progressive politicians that are standing right there and parroting everything that's being said, is that he was murdered unprovoked by a couple of ICE officers, by one or more.
And by the way,
I'm just not buying the argument that a law enforcement officer is going to open that door and start shooting a guy unprovoked.
and
now,
then,
I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm not saying I see no evidence of that either.
Well, you see no evidence of self-defense. That's what I'm trying
to
say.
That's a very important concept.
Not
here.
the chase. You don't kill people because you're chasing them down the highway. We have that every day.
Now, we've got two things. One, we've had a funeral that I want Willie Davis to comment on. We'll also get Willie's comments as city council member on that. So let's get your calls in here.
Oh, city council's been on fire on what to do about this.
281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV or pound KSEV for those Verizon callers. We may be the first group, guys, on the conservative side that's
I have heard
about
nothing.
This issue. But we always talk about it here, what we know and what the facts are. And we'll get council member and Pastor Willie Davis's take on two things right after this on The Voice of Texas.
You're listening to the Amigos on The Voice of Texas.
If you have roof problems, you can sure see them when it rains. This is Deb Tejada from Tejas Roofing. If you see a leak, call me immediately, 281-251-0304. I'll send over the Tejas Roof Repair truck.
That truck has everything our experienced crew needs to fix your roof, right then and there.
The Tejas Roofing crew has been working together fixing leaky roofs for 15 years.
It's not a pretty truck, but it has everything we need to get the job done. I kind of like the way it looks.
Most roofing repairs cost less than $500. Why? Because we find the cause of the leak and repair that leak. We won't try to sell you services you don't need.
And we'll fix it right away because everything we need is in our truck.
Don't put off fixing a leaky roof. Call me at Tejas Roofing and I'll send over the truck. 281-251-0304. When you think of roofing repairs or a new roof, think Tejas Roofing, your Houston roofing company. 281-251-0304. That's Tejas Roofing, 281-251-0304.
From the KSEV Weather Center, tonight expect mostly cloudy skies and humid conditions with a low of 78. Tomorrow will bring more of the same with mostly cloudy and humid weather, along with a chance of a thunderstorm that could lead to ponding on roadways. Look for a high of 92. Tomorrow night, anticipate continued mostly cloudy and humid conditions with a low of 77. As we head into Sunday, expect a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few showers and a thunderstorm possible. It will remain humid with a high of 91. With the KSEV Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate in O'Hara Homes. Davy Crockett addressed the Tennessee Congress after losing his bid for a seat. You may all go to hell, I'm going to Texas. Apparently a lot of other people from other states are feeling the same way lately. We have people coming to Texas from every state in the union. I think they are looking for a state with more conservative views. The word Texas comes from the Caddo Native American language, which means friends or allies. Texans are some of the friendliest people on the planet. If you're moving from another state, Texans will treat you well. If you're fleeing from a liberal state, leave those views there. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, give O'Hara & Company Real Estate a call at 281-373-3393. Again, that's 281-373-3393, or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. If you need any type of construction work done, call O'Hara Homes at the same number, 281-373-3393. Davy Crockett ended up being an historical figure in Texas history and embodied the Texas spirit. God bless America and God bless Texas.
Start your mornings with the Chris Salcedo Show.
I used to live down the dial a couple of notches during this time period in the morning, but I think I found a new home. And it's why I'm going to tune in. You gave them some very tough questions, you know, some of the toughest questions that I've heard an interviewer give a seasoned politician like that. And just like all seasoned politicians, before they answer the question, they run interference.
The Chris Salcedo Show, 7 to 9 a.m. on AM 700 KSEV. You're listening.
And that's what we do every day on The Voice of Texas. We tell you the facts and where your money goes, especially when the three amigos rides into town. You've got the tax man, the soul man, the judge, and a longtime friend
Indeed.
and and great guy, Pastor Willie Davis, a.k.a. also not a.k.a. you are Houston City Council member. Willie, how are you?
I'm doing good, Uncle Paul. How are you and my good friends there, the three amigos?
Hey, really, when I told you to call the show on Wednesday, I didn't realize there'd be a hot topic.
That's right.
Just one more laid-back afternoon.
Willie, two reasons. Willie, I saw you down at Dr. Sloan's funeral. Wanted you to come on because we've known Dr. Sloan for some time, 20 years taking what was HBU to HCU. Fantastic, inclusive man. I thought his son did a really good job of kicking that off. And I know you don't use Twitter much, but on Team Betancourt, you can go see the opening of that at the ceremony today, or the memorial. And it was really, you and Mayor Whitmire were sitting down at the front row on the right. So you're in the picture too.
Yes.
So Willie, give us a few words on Dr. Sloan, and then we have to talk to you about what went down on Canal Street.
Got it. Well, Uncle Paul, thank you first of all, and you guys for having me to get the opportunity to express my sincere, heartfelt condolences toward the Sloan family and what Dr. Robert B. Sloan meant to us. I've been on the Board of Trustees now for about 8 years, and at his asking, which I was just so honored to do, but a tremendous institutional leader. Two major colleges, universities in this state. Dr. Sloan there's no match to his success, his wisdom, all that he meant. I mean, he and I and Sue and my wife, we were very close, talked often. This is going to be a giant step, Paul. It's going to be a huge step for us as the trustees to find not just, we know we're not looking for anybody to be a Dr. Sloan. That's out. Let's forget that. But what we know, we have to face the fact of choosing someone to lead this Houston Christian University on further. It has grown tremendously. Great school, great academic. My wife is actually finishing her doctorate.
Oh, she is? That's great.
Yeah.
I met John Stephen, who was it was the chief down there. He said that he had a choice between finishing his master's at U of H or HCU, and he did at HCU. And when you're down there, the campus has really exploded. It's not just the Carpenter Hall replicate. They've got a science building coming.
Is Charles Backery still
and
with them?
I talked to Charles too. And everybody, by the way, all those people are all in my X. So go to Team Betancourt X, and you can talk to everybody we just talked about, because I had to decide whether to put Willie in as a city council member or as a trustee. So I defaulted as being the city council member. And he was very inclusive guy. He would even include Catholics like me in the scenario. But the whole campus is really on an uptick. And how many students now, Willie?
Oh wow, we had the largest. We're past 5,000 or 6,000. We had the largest freshman class in the history this past year. We jumped right over 800 on an average per year and went up to 900. I mean, the school is it's busting loose.
Yes, right. And, they've got some data center stuff that they're talking about down there too. So, this is the memo to everybody besides Dr. Sloan's life. He was a great guy. There is an alternative school that's kind of a gem in Houston that people really don't know about it. And it's Houston Christian University, and it's, right off of Bissonnet Southwest Freeway. So, people should be looking at that as a place to go to school. Now, Willie, we got you on this one too. We need to, you've been having a lot of activity down at City Council about the shooting on Canal Street. Yeah. When you and I left the mayor, he was headed to Canal Street, I think, to talk to the family.
Correct.
And so, what say you? Because Ben's right. This is a wall-to-wall coverage on really almost all the major, stations, and we're probably the first conservative station that's taken this on. So, Willie, tell us what you've got.
Let me tell you what I have, guys. Here's my take. First of all, it's nothing could be more, hurting than this to happen in Houston. Our mayor, let me start there, who has done an excellent job, as well as our chief of police, Chief Diaz, in keeping this down. The program that we had in place, it worked. We were not doing what most of the people thought we were doing. We were not working with ICE. The mayor and the chief made that clear, absolutely clear. So that we know. HPD had nothing to do with this. HPD was not involved in this, as the mayor and the chief has said. And so what we're faced with, some of the people who were complaining at council against the mayor and the city council members, accusing HPD, and so to think that now they're trying to get HPD involved. So you got the, if I do or if I don't. But let me just say this. The missteps in this, in my opinion, and it's just mine, that the ICE agents didn't have body cameras. They didn't have body cameras.
No,
so now,
and Willie, let me reinforce that, okay? Because the problem is, and we talked about this when we led the show, because the ICE agents didn't have body cam, and I've been a big proponent of, because it protects everybody involved, because you've got an absolute record. And now what's going to happen is everybody gets to fill the vacuum with, he said, she said, but more importantly,
that's right.
That's why I voted for the bill in the Senate. Okay, and because it's just an absolute, you have to have it in this day and age. Now, and that's right. Part of the problem. Now, the other thing that I heard from HPOU, Willie, was that the Fed's officers have a hold for 72 hours, I think, at least 48, where they don't speak out. But part of that is without that body cam footage, everybody's going to have a huge knockdown drag out.
It's going to be, you're right, Uncle Paul. It's going to be Mount Everest trying to pinpoint what happened, the investigation process, because HPD is out of it. The Mayor Whitmire, is doing everything he can, as well as our chief, to get a process in terms of what a little bit of information that they can get to give to the citizens. We know the family's hurting. I just left there over in the area where this incident happened today. I left the funeral with the mayor. We went there together, and we went over there. I spoke with the son and expressed my condolences to him and his family. I stand with Councilmember Joaquin Martinez in this, because he's the district councilman in that area, and he's very passionate, as he should be, about what happens in his district and with his people. But at the same time, it's the federal government. They are in charge. They are in control. I just want the peace of our city. Guys, you guys are example of how great Houston is and how we have been. And we don't want anything that gives a lot of these radical people an opportunity, like they do. They come to the city, they curse the council, they curse the mayor, they spit out all types of things. And why? Because Houston has been the city that has not had that trouble. We wasn't Chicago, we wasn't Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We were none of those places. And so my prayer is that we can stay that way. And I do believe that when it's all said and done, that Mayor Whitmire and our Chief Diaz, we will curtail this. We hopefully to keep this down and not create a vacuum in our city and a black eye across Houston, Texas, because we are living in the greatest city in America.
Well, I think, Willie, Eric, and good to see you the other night, by the way.
Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think, I know you take your time on this, but I think city councils might come under a lot of pressure. It's not that the DA or the Houston can't investigate a murder or self-defense in the city. It's just they yield, don't they, on the front end of these investigations? Not that they could. They have jurisdiction to look into any crime that's committed within our city limits, don't they, Willie? The jurisdiction
yes,
to do
they
it.
do. Yeah, yes, they do, Judge. Yes, they do. But the only thing is, everything relative to this issue, there's nothing there. Everything's taken up by the FBI. The vehicle.
Yeah, they'll push you out
of
they'll push you out of the way. I get that.
Right.
I get that.
Correct.
I mean, I get that.
Correct.
But no, they're not. In other words, there's no exemption. A federal officer does not have an exemption from Texas law, city law, or anything.
So this update I have from Whitmar, I guess he spoke earlier today, Councilman. He says he vows to pursue an independent and transparent local investigation into Tuesday's deadly ICE shooting, but said federal control over evidence is proving difficult to overcome.
That's correct.
He said the Houston police chief is supposed to be proactive in pursuing an investigation amid witness statements that contradict ICE account of the shooting.
Right.
And he's got a meeting with the FBI next week.
That's correct.
Our hands have been tied, but I've instructed the chief and city attorney to try to untie those hands.
That's right.
Yeah.
That I get.
So
I understand that.
And I commend our mayor for doing it. He's always tried to do everything he could with this issue. And as you guys know, when those of us who stood, and Uncle Paul knows, for the fact that we support HPD, and I definitely do. And when the ordinance was trying to be pushed to take away the jurisdiction, the power of the police department to stop violations, and we killed that and got over it. But now I think the mayor and the chief has taken a great deal. He expressed that to me today, that he was going to continue to pursue it, that they get more information so that he, as the mayor of Houston, Texas, the fourth largest in America, can stand up and say to the constituents, I'm doing everything that I can.
Correct.
Because, you know, some going to accuse him or not, but he's doing it.
All right. Willie, thank you for coming on as
Indeed.
pastor, friend of Dr. Sloan, and then as the city council member and
Absolutely.
trustee of HC. I mean, you've wore 3 hats today. Congratulations, Willie. And the bottom line, Willie,
Thank you
and
so
I'm
much.
I'm just going to say body cams, body cams, body cams. Okay? That's why I voted
so
for
much,
him.
Paul.
All right. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And thank you, Senator Paul. All right. God bless you guys.
Hey,
God
thank
bless
you,
you too,
Willie.
Willie. All right. Okay, let's turn and burn and get to some callers. Join Paul and Robert at 281-558-5738. Join the 3 Amigos at 281-558-KCB or pound KCB. It's free for those Verizon callers.
So I just was watching that television footage that they yesterday on air. It's a very isolated black SUVs. ICE law enforcement chasing 30 mile an hour. Also, the Washington Post is reporting that one of the individuals inside the victim's said that the police had their lights on. No question that
They stopped the rain. They're
well, obviously that is there is a death in the street. But the two things the statements that I'm making are in direct contravention to what was said yesterday at that press conference LULAC has.
I understand
that there's no doubt. All right.
There's a
Let's
death
get your
and
calls
a
in.
self-defense.
Get your calls
No
in.
evidence yet.
So we can take a break and come back and have more of the 3 Amigos right after this on The Voice of Texas.
But he didn't just corners too. That's what I learned. Do the job right, people trust you, and integrity beats profit. People Garage Door Doctor today or schedule online at garagedoordoctor.biz. And yeah, we still beat the other guy.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more than the doctor. Garage Door Doctor.
The open enrollment period for medical plans is right around the corner, so get some facts and your options. In response to COVID-19, rates are expected to rise as high as 40% in some states. Are you already paying exorbitant Obamacare or COBRA rates? Are you paying ridiculous rates for your family on your work group plan? Are you going without insurance because you can't find anything reasonable? Your search is over. Listen to your pal Chris Salcedo. How does a zero-deductible, no-copay nationwide PPO plan sound? And you can get it at half the cost, keeping your hard-earned money where it belongs, in your pocket. American Medical Plans will tailor a plan that best fits you as well as your budget. American Medical Plans are local guys. Their goal is to give you peace of mind and the utmost in healthcare. Call American Medical Plans today to see if you qualify and start saving 30 to 60% now. Call 833-500-PLAN. That's 833-500-7526, or go to AmericanMedicalPlans.com. That's AmericanMedicalPlans.com. It's a quality plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
Do you need money? Want to lower your monthly debt? Are you thinking about a cash-out refinance? Hi, it's Kathy from Baker Mortgage. A cash-out refinance can get you back in your comfort zone, and that's what it's all about. A recent client who closed with us had his payment go up about $300, but his monthly outgo was being reduced by $1,200, so giving him a net positive cash flow of $900. It's not about adding debt, but restructuring it in a way that makes sense. And this math totally makes sense. And please don't sweat it if your interest rate is going up a little or if you're extending the term. I can show you by taking a small amount of what you're saving monthly and applying it towards your mortgage, you're going to pay it off just as quickly and you'll be way ahead in the money game, which is where we all want to be, right? Remember, we want to help you, but we're not going to help you over a cliff. Baker Mortgage, 281-313-MOVE, or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender. License number 263213.
Got a question or comment for the Amigos? Call now. 281-558.
Happy birthday, Arlo Guthrie. Singing New Orleans. Happy birthday, Jeff Hanna, the founding member of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Great song.
Bojangles. Mr. Bojangles. You know,
you knew I had to include Bonnie Tyler.
This was sad. This was sad to me.
You knew I
yeah,
did.
right.
I got two of her songs, of course. It's a Heartache. And then, of course, her anthem.
Right. Now,
KSEV, drive home, 700 a.m., the voice of Texas, the voice of everything you need to know. You need to tune in 4 to 6 on Friday afternoons. Paul Bettencourt across from me. Ben Struzan diagonally opposite me, which is accurate.
And you can catch our show live on KSEVradio.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter, and on Rumble right now.
Absolutely. So that was lively. You got callers?
Of course we do.
Of course we do.
All right, when we want more, 281-558-5738. Call in. Okay, Robert, come on up. You're up first.
Oh, thank you. Oh, there's so much on this plate. I do agree about the cameras. I said that right. I was talking about that right away. They just set themselves up for failure. I don't know who allowed them to leave the office without a camera. I thought all that was settled, but now we're right back in that same hole again. And I do commend the mayor not acting like other typical Democrat mayors and start acting stupid. I appreciate the way he's handling things.
Yeah, Robert,
you mean in terms of piling on.
Robert, he was trying to do an even-handed deal, but without those body cams, he has to start an investigation, which is what he's done.
That's what he said, right? And the FBI is going to muscle him out of it for a while.
Well, of course, but you know, he has to recognize. I just wish that the body cams had been bought and purchased. Now, there's people in D.C. whining that because it was a Democrat shutdown, but we should have had body cams in ICE long ago because they've got a ton of money.
Tons.
So, right, and it's the only way to avoid these arguments. Okay.
I totally agree. I think somebody ought to be punished for it for not having those guys have the equipment.
Yeah, I agree.
Somebody needs to be accountable for it. Because this stuff can't be happening.
Because the body cams, it's just an essential tool of documentation in the 21st century. And look, and because it will show you exactly what is. It's not a debatable deal when you've got, body cameras from the arresting officer or the officer that is trying to claim self-defense. It would be obvious.
Yeah, and I know that you mentioned a guy something about being exempt. Those illegals are not exempt either. Just because they don't have a body camera, don't make them exempt. Obviously, they're doing something, and they need to find out exactly what's up.
Yeah, Robert,
when the truth does come out, are they going to believe it or not?
Well, see, and that's part of the problem. We're in such a frothy phase. Of politics that we know probably somebody was in the van that they were after. We don't know who it was, how bad it was, etc. You've got a guy that's lived here for 35 years. He doesn't come home. He's shot dead no matter what happens. We don't have body cam footage. And so,
it's illegal.
And it is possible, but not probable, that an ICE officer pulled out his gun and just shot the guy with no cause whatsoever.
Nobody knows.
It's possible.
Absolutely.
Okay, but is it probable that that's what happened?
No. I would hope not.
I would hope not in America. I don't know.
Because you have that sheriff in Brazoria County that has a similar, based on that narrative.
Well, you're talking about the one that was pursuing the guy into the garage?
Into the driveway in the garage, right? Shot through the window. I mean, it did happen.
Okay, Robert, give you last comment.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
Can I say
we
one
got to
more
run.
thing,
Sure.
please?
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
And I don't like the media putting out a narrative and trying to do it court on TV. Just the way they did Trayvon. They edited it and made it all a big lie.
That's what's happening right now. Is you're just getting the left progressive bias side.
Well, and that's why I'm glad Holman is down here. And
it's because that Kristi Noem made such a mess of things when we had these issues in Minnesota, and
they had to send Holman.
The credibility just fell apart completely.
Well, the whole credibility of ICE fell apart. And it really hurt Trump's polling on the issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now it's recovered.
Now they're invoking what I call the 48-hour rule, which is keep your mouth shut for 48 hours at least until you find out what happened.
But now, by the way, because this was a real problem, and and this is why the left is progressive, jumping all over this because they can invert that curve back down, and of course that's part of politics in a
sure. I mean, you've already got Mandami and all those people saying defund ICE and get rid of the agency.
Anyway,
does the judge want the criminals gone? Does the judge want the criminals gone?
Yes,
I'd like to know that too.
Yeah, you want the criminal illegals gone?
Well, yes, of course.
Right.
I mean.
Well, but not everybody in your party. Not everybody party.
Hey, Robert, we got to run, but it was a great call. Okay, then call back. All right. Okay, let's get Pablo. Wait a minute. Let's wait. Paul, you can hold over the break. Ben, you're going to come out of the break. We got one last.
That's
one
last
set. And so why don't you all join Paul at 281-558-5738, 281-558-KSEV or pound KSEV. It's free for those Verizon callers. And if Jonathan Signs out there, you should call in, okay? Because I've given him all the phone numbers because we want to hear from him too because he was at the Dr. Sloan funeral today, which you can catch up on at my ex at Team Betancourt. If you want to like it and retweet it, I appreciate it. All right, Ben, it's yours right after the break here on The Voice of Texas.
Understatement. We've got all your faves, from refreshing wines and canned cocktails to bold spirits, tasty mixers and snacks, and all the gear you need to mix up the fun. With the largest selection and lowest prices, Specs is your destination for delicious. Make a splash this summer with Specs Wine, Spirits, and Finer Foods. The fun starts here.
Chris X here to tell you about Humble Amco Transmission and AC Specialists. People who know go to Amco. I personally trust Jay Streckfus and Humble Amco with all of my vehicle's needs. With complete car care, they'll take care of all of your auto needs as well. Always a free check engine light inspection, and tell them that Chris X sent you for a free engine scan. Call Jay today at 281-446-0862. That's 281-446-0862, or online at humbleamco.com.
Tune in each Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for On the Money with your host and CEO of Allied Wealth Texas, Ryan Wheelis, who can help you live your richest life possible during your retirement years. That's each Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on AM 700 KSEV.
Finding a reputable business shouldn't require luck or chance. But how can you tell who you can trust? Always look for the sign of a better business and find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Is it time to sell your house? Well, then hire a real estate team that will sell your house quickly and for top dollar. That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group. The team concept starts with experience, a drive and passion from Ronnie and Kathy Matthews, the founders. They built their team with specialists from every aspect of the real estate transaction, from the buyer's agent to the contract administrator to the marketing specialist. This team is working full-time to get your home sold and every detail handled professionally. Call Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-440-7900 or on the web visit thematthewsteam.com. Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, your realtor for life. Call now for a free home evaluation, 281-440-7900. That's 281-440-7900. Or see for yourself and go online at thematthewsteam.com. I chose them as my realtor, and you'll be happy if you do as well. That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-440-7900 or thematthewsteam.com.
That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, brokered by EXP.
The best in financial talk and more. Money Matters, every Monday through Thursday from 11 a.m. till noon, here on AM 700 KSEV, AM 1540 KGBC, and streaming online at KSEVradio.com.
Got a question or comment for the Amigos?
And welcome back to the Voice of Texas. Thanks for joining us on a Friday drive home afternoon. Three amigos, Ben the Soul Man, the Strew with the views, Strew Sand on the right. You got the tax man, Paul Betancourt, at the helm, the liberal lefty judge, Eric Andel, sitting across from me. And I was just looking at this summary from AP about the ICE shooting here in Houston.
Anything new, Ben?
No, I think we've covered most of it. Of course, we have this clip from Holman from about an hour ago saying what I think is the correct
Craig, fired up
thing to say.
All right, Tom, I want to ask you about this story. It's making the rounds. It is a story of an illegal immigrant who was killed in Houston, shot by an ICE officer. Now, according to DHS, the illegal immigrant tried to ram the ICE officer with his car. Now, this, of course, as you know, is making the rounds. There are those talking about it on other cable channels and in other mainstream media sources. And what they will say is, after Alex Preddy or Renee Good, they don't accept initial explanations of what has happened. So I want to ask you, what happened, and what evidence does DHS and ICE have to back up what happened?
Well, look, as usual, I'm not going to discuss an ongoing investigation. We're going to let the investigation play out, because if I give an opinion, then that may sway, certain people on the decisions of the investigation. We need to let the investigation play out. Let the facts come together. Okay. There's going to be some body cam footage, maybe. There's going to be cell phone video. There could be, cell phone towers in the area or cameras that the city owns that may, capture some images. So we need to let the investigation play out. But for the media, don't trust ICE. And why is that? Because the vast majority of media, they constantly tell lies about what ICE is doing, and they base that on members of Congress who want to compare ICE to the Nazis, the secret police, and so forth. The hateful rhetoric is driving public opinion away from ICE. But I think in the last few months, we're winning the public back because we're putting the truth out there. We're releasing videos. We're talking about these investigations. So when this investigation comes out, we'll see where it lies. But we got to let it play out.
that was I thought that's a very straight center stripe question.
He was my initial. I said, this is the guy.
He's the right guy.
He's the right guy. Trump should have put him in charge, not Kristi Noem. I knew that at the time it happened,
Well, look, Ben, I'm pretty sure we said it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get Paul. Paul, you're on the Voice of Texas. Come on, Pablo.
Yeah, now I'm going to make one comment, but I've got two issues I called about, but I'm making a comment about what I heard while I was listening. Okay.
Quick, Paul. We're at Paul. We only got a
federal officer.
Paul, we don't have time. Go to your quick call. Or you want to make a comment about Iran? Go. Okay. Go, because we're up against the end of the show.
Two real quick things. Okay. First on Iran, I hope Trump is waking up and he says the ceasefire is over. That they used the Khomeini funeral to try to start up again.
No question. And Paul, and you're right, because look at the locations of the 3 ships that were hit. It was way down the peninsula on the Omani Saudi side. They targeted the big Qatarian carrier, the Kuwaiti one, and the Saudi one, clearly. And no offense, holding up a big sign at a funeral that says "Kill Trump." Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to attract negative attention.
Yeah, I think that's the again. Also, you got to know the people you're dealing with.
But also, Trump needs to thank Mossad for uncovering the plot against him, the recent one.
Well, he made
I'm sure y'all heard about.
Yeah, Democrats are claiming that Trump made it up. There was no plot.
No, well, I tell you.
Oh, bull.
All right, well,
of course, that's what they're going to say.
Okay.
They're going to do anything.
What's your next
Paul,
point?
What's your next point? We're almost out of time, bud. Go.
Okay, the other point was that, they're already seeing what about the doctors running ads to try to get anchor babies, with the Supreme Court ruling. And Trump has gone, they got 30 days they can ask for a rehear. And I hope that these justices like Kavanaugh and Barrett and Roberts, we're a sovereign country. We're not subject to the king anymore. Okay? We fought that battle back in 1776.
Paul, let me is there I know we had a rehearing on an issue at Texas at the Criminal Court of Appeals when you remember on that voter integrity case,
right?
Yeah. The sheriff, they basically, and then we got.
They're not going to change their mind.
I have a rehearing. You can ask for it.
But I've never heard of
one.
They're
out of session.
Waste of time.
No, but I mean, have you ever heard of
it? According to the Supreme Court, you do have 30 days.
Yeah, you do.
No. Paul, I'm not asking.
30 days
Paul,
for the rehear.
I'm not saying that. I just don't think they've ever done it.
No.
In our lifetime, I don't remember it.
They're home. They're out of session.
Okay, Paul. All right, Paul. Let's assume that stays. You were rightly, somewhat, indignant as to what happened in Iran, and so now you think that with kinetic strikes are back, that there may be a chance that we can clear them out of the Strait of Hormuz, because that's really the acid test. When you boil all this down. The one thing is
maybe we can finally have victory. You can finish the job.
The blockade was more
effective. Thing.
The
Fox,
blockade.
I mean, Trump needs to get the foxes out of the hen house. That's Qatar, that's Pakistan, that's Turkey and Urjaran. And certainly don't send 100 F-35s to Turkey and Urjaran.
By the way,
Paul,
you've just listed almost every possible fox in the hen house around the Gulf.
Saudi Arabia, too.
Yeah, right.
Paul.
I'm making a joke. But anyway, have a good weekend.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, Ben, you got good golf in the morning?
I'm going to try, yeah.
Okay, well, boy, he barely sounds like he's going to make it.
I got to pack
what do you got?
I got packed for my trip to L.A. I will not be here next Friday because I'll be in sunny California.
You're leaving on a jet plane?
Leaving on a jet plane.
Don't know when I'll be back again.
Okay, well, you're in sunny California, and I've got a good weekend with Mrs.
There
B.
you go.
All right.
And we'll see who shows up next Friday.
Good night.
All
And
right.
God bless.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Good night, God bless. The Craig Collins Show is next.
KSEV Townhall.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Testimony has concluded in a pretrial hearing in the Charlie